Hey guys, welcome to another episode. Now, as you know, I've been very forthcoming with my life as well as my business, and I've let you guys know exactly what's what. But the honest truth is that my business is still not doing very well, and in this video, I want to talk a little bit about that and what I plan to do about it. The truth is, Amazon has evolved a whole lot since I started Amazon in 2014. And as a result of my own inability to take notice of what's been going on lately, I've become uncompetitive in the Amazon marketplace. The goal of this video is not only to inspire you, but also to get the gears inside your brain moving. And I prefer it if people learn from my mistakes, and hopefully they can make drastic changes in their lives without giving up. Let me go ahead and start this off with a little story about my background, and hopefully by the end of this will all make sense. First of all, the last job I ever had was in 2001. I was working for a company called New Horizons, and I was a computer instructor. I lost that job due to the World Trade Center catastrophe, and I read a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad and figured out that there were 4 types of people in this world. You had the business owner, you had the investor, you had the employee, as well as the self-employed. Now, considering that I was an employee for most of my life until 2001, I decided that wasn't the path I wanted to take anymore, and I wanted to become a business owner. And so I made it my goal to never work again for the rest of my life, and here we are today. From 2001 all the way up to 2010, I had 4 websites all cranking away. I had 2 retail websites and 2 wholesale websites, and I was selling sunglasses in 2001. Can you believe that? People buying sunglasses 24 years ago. I made anywhere between $400,000 to $500,000 a year. And when you're in your mid-20s, making that kind of money is a whole lot of money, especially 20 years ago. So I was definitely raking in the dough. But anyway, sometime around 2010, I lost that business, and then I licked my wounds, sold the businesses for pennies on the dollar, and then for the next 3 years, I lived off of the life savings that I had acquired. At that time, Amazon wasn't brand new, but it was in its beginning stages. So in 2014 is when I started my Amazon business. I started with online and retail arbitrage, which is basically going to the stores, finding products with a scanner app, and then listing it on Amazon and making a profit. Today, I don't do retail and online arbitrage like I used to back in 2014. Today, I have my own products, and these are my products. They're not drop shipped. I developed them myself. So it's been about 10 years since I started my Amazon business. And for me, boom cycles are anywhere between 9 and 10 years. So with my sunglasses business, it was from 2001 to 2010. And now with Amazon, it's from 2014. And now we're in 2024. So that's 10 years right there. And I'm back down to a bust cycle right where I started in the beginning. But this time, it's a little bit different. I'm not exactly losing my business, but it is a big downturn. On paper, if you want to take a look at my tax returns, in 2023, I made roughly $300,000. But after accounting for all business expenses, buying inventory, and everything else that you can imagine, including taxes, and of course, let's not forget, living very frugal, I still had a loss in my business. And for the last 3 or 4 years, I've been at a business loss as well, because my business kept getting lower and lower and lower every single year because of Amazon's stiff competition in the Amazon.com marketplace. If you're a business owner, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about, but cash flow is king. However, in my situation, 90% of my income goes straight back into the business, and just a little bit of it I get to use for fun or maybe some extracurricular activities, which these days is pretty much non-existent. Besides my Amazon business, I do have different income streams, but they're nowhere near Amazon's level, and it's not something I can live off of. For example, I have this YouTube channel. I have my other 2 YouTube channels that produce anywhere between $1,500 to $2,000 per month. I also have commissions that I make on Amazon, as well as a few other places, but as I mentioned before, living in California, specifically San Diego, it's not enough to pay the bills and the rent. So I'm not depending 100% on that. This is still considered a side gig, or a hobby if you want to call it that. And of course, I don't have to tell you this, but you probably figured it out by now, but I don't have a job, nor do I ever plan on getting one. I've been on my own for the last 24 years, and that's not going to change. My brain, my body, my lifestyle, everything has been conditioned for freedom. I can't go back to a 9-to-5 job. It's not something that I'm used to. I love my freedom, and if I have to be homeless and live on the street just so I don't have to get a job, I'd rather have that than getting another job. So I'm going to work my hardest to get my business back to where it used to be before, and I have a plan for that. So with that said, let me go ahead and share a quote with you because this quote resonates with me 100%, and I want to know if it resonates with you as well. Let me go ahead and read it to you. Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. That basically sums up why sometimes life is great and other times it's not so great, and other times it's completely miserable. So the first half of this quote resonates with where I currently am in my life at the moment. These hard times that I'm going through at the current moment have the capacity to make me a much better person in the future, provided that I continuously work and not give up. But quite honestly, in my situation, if it was another person, maybe it's really, really easy to give up and get a job and completely forget about the business because the job is going to provide you a weekly paycheck and it means you're going to be comfortable. However, for me, that's not an option, as I discussed with you. So for me, in these hard, dark times, it's best to find a way to get out of the situation. Because as the quote implies, hard times create strong men, provided that we stick with it, that we grind away, and we figure out a solution to get through the problems that we're in. All right, so now let's go ahead and talk about good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. And for me, quite honestly, I'm not going to lie. I'm just going to be 100% honest. It was probably the good times that led to the situation I'm currently in at the current moment because I wasn't really aware and I just kept trying to have fun instead of focusing on business and what needed to get done. Just as a small example, and I'm not blaming this on this channel or buying the van, but I probably purchased my first van prematurely. And I went on an extended vacation for the next 8 months by choice, living inside my van, and I probably should have focused more on my business. This is one prime example of how good times can create weak men. As an example, a business is kind of like having a plant. If you buy a plant that requires it to be watered every single week and you miss watering that plant for a couple of weeks, watch what happens to that plant. Therefore, a business is like having a plant. If you don't take care of that business and you don't nurture it and tend to its needs, it's going to die off. I don't know of any business owner who can 100% lay off his hands and not do a single thing, and it's going to constantly grow without him. Regardless of if your business is 1 mile away or 10,000 miles away, you always need to have your eyes on the ball. Now, once again, I'm not saying that van life or buying that van or starting this channel or anybody for that matter had anything to do with my business failing. I'm just giving you guys a small example because this is a van life channel up until now at least, and that is the best example I can give you, if you know what I mean. But anyway, throughout the last maybe 3 to 5 years, Amazon has evolved tremendously. Unfortunately, my brain and the way I think really hasn't. And that probably had a lot to do with my lack of success in the last couple of years. As an example, one thing that has changed a lot in the last couple of years is the amount of sellers on Amazon. 65% of most sellers on Amazon are from China. They have direct pricing from manufacturers directly from where they live. And they get to ship here very, very cheap as well. The other thing is that Amazon has changed a whole lot since 2014. Amazon first started in Amazon US, but now you can buy almost anything from anywhere in the world using FBA because now they have warehouses all around the world, not only in Japan, but Europe, as well as North and South America as well. So regardless of where you are in this world, Amazon Prime is there. So this is something that I really haven't kept up with until quite recently. But anyway, there are currently 1.9 million active sellers on Amazon all around the world. And I would say a lot of them are doing very, very well. So I'm not saying that I'm blaming Amazon for all the Chinese people or because there's a lot of competition. Clearly, Amazon works for hundreds of thousands of people all around the world. So I'm not putting anyone to blame. All I'm saying is that I probably haven't been keeping up to date with what's been going on with Amazon and changing my business and evolving it. That's all I'm trying to say. But anyway, now that you know my story and everything that's been going on until now, I have 10 years worth of Amazon experience and I'm not going to give that up. I'm going to find new ways to develop and grow my business. At the current moment, not only am I selling on the Amazon.com platform, but I'm also selling in Amazon UK as well. Unfortunately, Amazon UK is not doing too well because right now they're having a lot of problems in the United Kingdom and business is exactly not the same. However, in Germany, they've expanded a whole lot, and that's one place I'm definitely considering going as well. So therefore, the plan is to expand into Germany. And while I expand into Germany, I can sell to all the other European countries as well. The trick is that I need to have a VAT registered in Germany as well as in the UK, which I already have, but now I need to get one in Germany. And of course, I need to go through a whole lot of bureaucratic hurdles for the EU. Now, if you're familiar with some of those, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It pretty much sucks. And lastly, I plan to go back to my old roots. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, I started with not only retail, but online arbitrage, where I went to stores and I scanned for products, but I plan not to do that as of right now. What I do plan to do is to do online arbitrage. So what I've done is I've hired a couple of assistants from the Philippines. They're currently looking for products for me to put on Amazon. So I'm buying these products from websites, and they're going to be profitable products that have a specific criteria that I'm looking for, such as the amount of margins that I want, the sell-through rate, etc., etc. If you guys are interested in learning a little bit more about that, leave a comment down below and I'll make a video one of these days. But anyway, that's my plan. Number one, expand to the rest of Europe. And number two, start selling online arbitrage. So this way I can have a little bit more cash flow until the Amazon website is better and I'm up and going in the rest of Europe. And of course, I'm not giving up on this channel as well as my other YouTube channels. It brings in money, so I'm going to constantly work on it because it's my other source of income. But as I mentioned before, it's not enough to pay all the bills. And lastly, I just created my Fiverr account. I plan to do not only YouTube mentoring, but also Amazon mentoring because I got a lot of comments on this channel about talking about my Amazon business and creating more videos about it. And this got me thinking that maybe you guys are interested in learning about Amazon. So if you're looking for a mentorship, regardless if it's YouTube content creation or learning more about Amazon, I can teach it to you on a one-on-one basis. So if you're interested in that, I'll leave a link down below. But anyway, if you're in your own bus cycle, just remember this quote and try to live by it. Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create good times. So everyone watching this video is currently somewhere within this quote, and this is where you live your life. And hopefully, if you're in the same situation as I am, you're not giving up. And now it's your turn. Would you like me to continue with this series and upload updates on my life as well as my business? And hopefully you guys can learn something from it. And by the way, Rambo's doing very, very well. He's sleeping right now. He says hello. See you guys later.